Hey there everyone, it's OS, and I'm here in Owen Sound doing a behind the scenes video on CBC and some of their setup too. So please stay tuned and we'll get into the video. And they even blocked off both ends of just a block anyway, for all the people that were going to be showing up. But altogether, there wasn't all that many people, maybe 175 to 100 people, and that's about it. So, yeah. All right, folks. Enjoy. And as I was going around the back, there was this truck here I had to take a picture of. And here I got some big time behind the scenes shots of some of their equipment. And inside to outside shot. All right. There you go, folks. And there is the city manager's assistant, the blonde in the black jacket.
special organization. You know, the homeless situation in Owen Sound and in the region of Grey County has become more dire in recent years. Many of the people who are the most vulnerable, who need the most help, are turning to O'Share. It's a very, as I mentioned, a very important agency providing meals, but not just meals, beyond that. And Linda Ward is here to talk about how it's expanding beyond a meal service. Welcome back.
Yeah, so yesterday I was down at O'Share and I was meeting all the people, learning all about this program. And what I learned is that, you know, while they were handing out those meals, they found out that there was another need in the community, and it had to do with the medical care that people that they were serving needed. Of course, there's no walk-in clinic in Owen Sound, one of many communities in Ontario where there is no walk-in clinic. So they decided to open a bit of a medical space and bring in, you know, nurses, nurse practitioners, paramedics, and then a doctor came forward and said that she wanted to access that space in order to be able to provide primary care to people who didn't have access to that. So I got to meet the doctor yesterday, I got to interview her, and I got to meet a couple of patients too, and here's how that went.
I will take that off. It's a little bit up, so we'll have a chat about that afterwards. But I'm Dr. Cox. I'm a family doctor in Owen Sound, and I also do outreach through the O'Share Clinic here today. Sometimes we're seeing wound care, you know, issues with housing support, living on the street. Definitely in the winter can be a really challenging time. But then it's also people who just don't have access to traditional medicine.
Came here from the winter area, and we both had our doctor there for many, many years, like 25 years. We've each had the same doctor. And then when we came up here, it's way different. There's no physicians available, none accepting new patients. And so we were directed here. We've had nothing but good results, quick results, and yeah.
I really enjoy this type of work. It fills my cup, so to speak. I think it's a Canadian belief that everyone deserves health care.
It's nice to get to know the doctor that's looking after you, you know, rather than getting bounced around. No, I think other than that.
Other than that, you're doing well?
Yeah, all right. Really appreciate your help.
Tina and Rennie are in the audience here today as well, so they came out to see you, Heather. You know, this is a great program, and it's so much needed that they actually even have a lineup some days when the doctor's in and some of the other practitioners lining up outside the door to get some help.
They also have two markets, as they're known.
Yeah, they're not selling anything at these markets. But these are markets where they open it up in the morning to families, in the afternoon on Wednesdays to homeless, vulnerable individuals, in order to be able to reach them where they are and be able to connect them with services. So whether you need access to, you know, a new form of ID, or you need a place to stay, or you're looking for a meal, whatever that is, they can go around, they can meet up with all the people that are coming into that market to provide those services. So it really is a very multifaceted approach, and we're going to tell you more about what they're doing. I know it sounds impossible that they could be doing more. They are doing more. We'll have more on that.
You can see why it's such a little bit of a routine essay, and then it's time a little bit of an intro, and then it is the Curry House. That's a restaurant literally just 2 blocks from where we are standing right now, on Main Street in this direction. He was beloved in Owen Sound, and not just because of his food. Since he was killed in August of 2023, the community has been seeking answers. Those finally arrived in the form of a CBC News investigation. With me here in Owen Sound is our senior investigative reporter, Jonathan Gatehouse, to share the latest information he has compiled. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Heather. As you mentioned, I mean, this is obviously a tragedy that reverberated here in this community, but also across the country and even across the Atlantic. As you had also said, it was also a case where there was very little information being made public by the police and the courts. And it wasn't until we gained access to a file hidden inside a Scottish court that we were finally able to piece together the allegations about what is said to have happened that night.
For 2 years, these photos have been the only glimpse of the men accused in the death of Owen Sound restaurant owner Sharif Rahman. That is, until now. Building on documents filed in a foreign court, a CBC News investigation has verified images of the three men, a father, son, and an uncle. In August 2023, a group of men dining at the Curry House allegedly tried to duck out on a $150 bill. That's when Rahman gave chase. Witnesses say he was felled by a single punch, his head hitting the pavement. He died in hospital a week later, leaving behind his wife and young daughter and a shaken, sorrowful community. Robert Evans Jr. is charged with manslaughter. His father, Robert Evans Sr., and uncle, Barry Evans, are each charged as accessories after the fact. According to court documents, Evans Jr. and Sr. entered Canada on valid UK passports with fake names. They didn't have work visas, but police say they were operating a cash-only business called Total Paving and were doing jobs in Owen Sound in mid-August. The 911 call for an assault in progress came in at 9:23 p.m. When officers arrived, they found Rahman lying on the pavement, unresponsive with critical injuries. According to police, it was Evans Jr. who threw the punch that killed him. Evans Jr. left Canada on a flight from Toronto to London the next day, the rest of the family following on separate planes. UK authorities received the arrest warrants in March 2024. It took them months to track the trio down in Edinburgh, Scotland. All three have been in custody ever since and will now be extradited to Canada.
Again, that reporting from Jonathan Gatehouse. As you say, Jonathan, police have not been very forthcoming with information in this case. Why is that?
That's a good question, Heather. I mean, initially, police said, the OPP and the Owen Sound Police Service said that they couldn't comment for investigative reasons. And then it became concerns about the legal process, that they didn't want to jeopardize the extradition process in any way. But ultimately, we were granted access to the full extradition file by the Scottish court, and that included all of the documents prepared by those police services, and clearly that didn't have any effect on the outcome of the extradition.
What did that silence mean for this community?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the silence gave rise to rumors and speculation, and also fueled the perception that there wasn't enough progress being made in this investigation. In fact, there was a protest stage outside of the Curry House restaurant at one point. But there's another important point to underline here. The court system in Canada is supposed to be open. Charges, the information about charges is usually available to the public and the press. And in this case, we still don't understand why there has been an exception to that rule.
But you'll continue to investigate. I think that will be very reassuring to the people here and to this community, because you've already made such strides in this story. Meanwhile, the restaurant continues to operate. It is his widow who continues to operate it with tremendous support from the community. And I know you'll be continuing to follow it. So Jonathan Gatehouse, I really appreciate your being here with us today. There is breaking news as well from elsewhere in the country.